Hey there, this is Jen of Maiden Voyage, and you're listening to Season 2, Episode 3, the one where we tackle Networking Like a Queen, Part 2, with guest speaker Kara Weber.
Maiden Voyage is a podcast recorded by the women of Impulse Creative.
We are CEOs, salespeople, project managers, writers, and marketers. We're also wives, rad moms, remote employees all over the country, in-house staff, empowered single ladies, and all-around ass kickers.
There's a lot of challenges we face, overcome, and share that make our voyage different than those of the men we work with. This is our journey.
This week's episode is brought to you by Impulse Creative. Well, hey there, Kara.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes. Before we get started, why don't you tell our mermaids and our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So yes, my name is Kara. I work here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I met Jen here a few months ago. So we've been good friends. We worked together for a little bit. So I have my own marketing company. It's a small marketing company, just me. It's about a year old now. I also work in real estate. And in my part-time, I play ice hockey. I have 5 dogs to take care of. And I also am on the board of Lancaster Young Professionals, which is what we're going to be diving into today.
Yes, awesome.
I love that you are all the things. You're like marketing, real estate, kick-ass ice hockey player, dog mom. There's like so much on your resume.
I'm very tired.
You're all the time in the city and everyone's always like, are you a dog sitter? She's like,
Are you a dog walker? I'm like, no, I don't get paid to do this.
Wait, what kind of dogs do you have?
So my boyfriend and I have 3 Siberian Huskies, a Pomsky, and a Aussie Beagle mix.
Yeah. And so you play ice hockey. Is there like a local Lancaster?
Yeah,
like
there's a women's team, a local women's team, and we travel around PA, like Delaware, Jersey, and we play different teams around the area. So I've been doing that for about 10 years now.
It's like super kick-ass. There's a girl on our team who used to do roller derby.
Oh,
I feel like you guys are kindred spirits.
We should meet.
Are you from Lancaster?
No, I'm from outside of Philadelphia area in the suburbs, so about an hour and a half away.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about Lancaster Young Professionals? You know, what is it? What networking events do you guys do?
Sure. So the mission of Lancaster Young Professionals, so we cultivate emerging leaders throughout Lancaster County. We do this through networking, professional development, and volunteering. So my role with them is coordinating all the networking events and special events. So basically our goal with these events is to obviously have people network. I try to get them to different businesses around the county to host them, just so we can get our members into different areas of Lancaster that they may not always go to, and visit different businesses and, make some good connections.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm actually a member myself, and sometimes like we have events at like bars or wasn't there going to be one at Decades? It's like this arcade place around here.
Yeah, we'll do nonprofits sometimes.
Yeah.
We have one in like a swimming pool before a country club. So we really, do a lot of different places. So it's cool.
Yeah, and I haven't actually volunteered with you guys, but what are some like volunteer activities that you offer?
Yeah, so actually 2 weekends ago, I was mulching and planting for a organization called Aaron's Acres. So we had a group of us out there doing that. We've done stuff for like painting, a lot of like just work in the community for nonprofits that just need a little extra help. Sometimes we volunteer for like local 5Ks and that need, volunteers and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, just a few hours on the weekend, nothing crazy.
So how did you first get started with LYP?
Sure. I obviously attended a few events, really liked the organization. I was then nominated to run for social director. It felt like a job interview. It was a cool process. I handed my resume, come in and kind of like talk with the board, and they had to meet me and everything, and then you vote to get elected to be on the board.
How big is the board? Was it kind of scary?
20 people.
You had
Wow, that's huge.
It was. It's a big one. Yeah. So no pressure at all, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So no, it's been great. I've been on the board for 3 years now, and it's been a good time.
And so I actually have a question. Why do you find networking to be like valuable? Like, why was this the group, and why networking? Like, what drew you to that?
For me personally, so I went to school at Millersville, which is a local college in Lancaster. I moved back home, kind of lost touch, friends from college moved different areas back home, and so I didn't really have many friends up here. I had a select few, and I was just new in the area, and I wanted to make some business connections too. And I've heard about this group, and I had a couple people that I knew in it, and so I just decided to go, and I really liked what they were doing, and I loved the people that I met, so I just decided to dive on in.
That's great. So it started as almost like a social connector for you in the area.
And that's like, I'll probably get into that later, but that is such a huge thing for people, is the social aspect of it too. So
I love that.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the next question I was going to ask is like the perfect segue. I was going to say, what value do these mixers bring to members and people that attend?
Yeah. So like I said, I think the biggest value, besides like business connections, is friendship. Everyone that comes to these mixers, a lot of people are like either new in the area or just, just enjoy the networking with people. But a lot of the newer people, they just don't have many friends yet or know many people and just want to be social. And I know like there's a group of us that we just like all become like best friends out of this group. And, we hang out outside of LYP, and I know a bunch of different people that have had the same experience. And honestly, like being new in an area, like friendships and, social aspect is like a huge thing. That's how you get started, and that's how you kind of like feel at home. So.
Yeah.
You're making it seem like less scary. I'm like intimidated by the whole thing. And I've been to like events like that, but I'm not a shy person at all. But
no,
when,
I used to be the same way too. Like so scared and so so scared.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like out of my realm, but like I'm not shy. I don't know.
I'm the same way. Like extrovert, but have a touch of introvert. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's you just gotta get out of your own head, I think. So
yeah, and I think the most important thing about it is that it's not like high pressure. Like it's just kind of a bunch of people standing.
How did you feel your first event?
I was a little nervous. I think so. My very first one, I didn't bring anyone, so I went solo.
You did.
I went solo,
yeah.
but I knew you through work.
Yeah,
and I knew you'd be there, but I was really nervous. But I kind of went there with the intent of, okay, I'm just gonna start a casual conversation with someone. Like it doesn't need to be so like, oh, I'm selling myself as my company or my professional. It was kind of just like, hi, my name is Jen. Like, I'm new to the area. What do you do?
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Want to be my friend?
Yeah. Just last week, actually, I went to one of our mixers and I met another girl who I felt like was me vicariously. Yeah. She came alone. That was the Jamie girl.
Yeah.
She came alone and she was like, I'm new to the area. And I felt like our kind of little clique just like took her under our wing.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I've always found from networking is that when you make some good connections and you go to like the reoccurring events, you do kind of have like a little like posse. But but it's not like a scary like high school, oh, we're in a clique and you can't be friends with us kind of thing. Everyone's super welcoming.
Exactly. And with our events, like we know that people like get nervous to network, so we always like try to include some sort of activity. Like one place we did like a trivia, so people were forced to like get into groups and do trivia together, and we do like cornhole and stuff like that. So we try to include like a little activity, kind of just to break that bubble and get people talking. So,
would you recommend that people, when they come for the first time, come solo, or do you recommend people come in a group or with a friend, a buddy?
That's a good question. I feel like it's based on your comfort level. If you want to come solo and you are you feel really comfortable doing that, or even if you just like want to try something new. And I think coming with friends, sometimes it does hurt you because then you kind of stick to your friend group and you don't meet new people, but it all depends on, your comfort level, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like from my experience, I would say just dive in.
Just do it. Yeah.
Like, and
feel like Nike, just do it.
Because I almost didn't go to that event because I felt like I needed someone to be with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't have a friend to go. And I almost like missed an awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well,
so I guess I'm curious, do you have any like people that were in LYP that had these great success stories? Like they met someone truly remarkable, whether it was they landed a new job opportunity because of the person they met, or maybe they just made a great connection that led them on a different path?
So I know like a few stories where people, but based on the venue we were at, they've, made a connection with even that venue or the business owner at that venue, and like they've used them or ended up like working there. But honestly, like I keep saying this, but the biggest thing is like the friendships I've seen develop. Like I've seen a person come as like a brand new person from like, across the country, come into LYP and, make friends and then hang out with these people outside of, LYP. And then they move on to, volunteering on our board and then joining our board. And it's just like I think the biggest thing is like the people I've seen just kind of grow through this organization. And I think that's really cool.
Okay. The connections.
The connections. Yeah.
Okay.
Have there been any marriages?
Look into that.
I just feel like if people are drinking and networking and they're single, like.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen a marriage, but I've seen some, flirting, lots of flirting. Yeah. Hey, why not?
Non-event
down here
style activity.
Yeah. Oh
the one down here, I've heard is notorious for a lot of dating around.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's like a balance, right? Because you
Yeah.
have to it's cute that people meet there too, but I mean, it sounds like with LYP, it's not just like a social hour. Like you guys do these volunteer events and all these different things too.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a social hour, but it's for good too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've done a lot of networking in my past, but it sounds like this is very different from things like B&I and other groups where it's very focused on your professional career. This feels like it's more focused on building, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like building a network to help you grow yourself, but not necessarily to specifically grow your business.
Yeah, and of course, like we hand out business cards, it's a networking event, and but it really is focused on relationships. I feel like
That's awesome.
it just kind of organically happened like that, which is
right.
So yeah, so we're gonna find you a boyfriend.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess because we kind of just talked about it's not completely career oriented. So I did have a question about kind of what would be your 30-second elevator pitch if you were talking to someone.
Yeah.
So maybe we could take that question and say, if it was a professional event, what is your kind of pitch for yourself to give our listeners some advice on how to craft their own kind of elevator pitch.
Sure.
However, I also two-part of that question. What would be a recommended good introduction for someone that's not necessarily wanting to come in business heavy either to introduce themselves?
Sure.
So
okay. So I mean, I kind of have a little outline that could definitely go both ways.
Okay.
I might look down my paper because I have a terrible memory.
You're fine. You can even hold it up if you want.
So which is funny, when I read this question, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like a college question. I haven't heard this question since college. So anyway, so basically the first thing you want to do is kind of obvious. You want to say who you are. So hi, my name's Kara Weber. Very nice to meet you. What's your name? And then you want to give a little background about yourself. So hi, my name is Kara. I have my own small marketing company and I also work in real estate. Then really quickly, you want to maybe go into a little more context. And so my marketing company is called Kara & Co Marketing. It's just me, myself, and I right now. It's about a year old. With real estate, I work at RE/MAX Pinnacle with the Marion Rupp team. And then after that, you want to make your connection with the person. So say it is a business you want to work for, or, in my case, it's a business I want to do marketing for. So I'd say, I've heard a lot about your business. You do a lot of great things here in Lancaster. I'd love to know if you need any help with your marketing. And then from that point, just go ahead and make the ask, hey, do you want to meet for coffee tomorrow and maybe talk more about what your needs are? And then just, kind of close out the conversation and set a date and time. And there you go. Should take 30 seconds or more.
Okay. So do you feel in your experience, you hear a lot of people that are just kind of quick to dive in? They're hey, it was nice to meet you, but let's continue this conversation over coffee or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way, and then make sure you do follow up. That's the biggest thing I feel is people get their business cards and they stick them in their back pocket and they go through the wash and then they're ruined and then the, connections never made. So definitely follow up is the big thing.
I think that is a big thing. And just to trade numbers. I know in the past when I've connected with them too, it's just as simple as the next day I'll text the person and just be hey, just so you have my number.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Yeah,
definitely. So
from like a professional standpoint, and I know a lot of that's like personal, so it may even be like social media connections. I always loved it like after a networking event when I would get all my LinkedIn connections.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything you said, Kara. I also think it's really important to like connect with them offline as well, or online.
Oh yeah.
On the line.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any advice, do you think, for someone that kind of struggles a little bit with that conversation?
Yeah, we kind of like talked about like, you know, how the introvert comes out in all of us, and, you know, it's hard to just go alone to even anything. Like, it's hard. It takes a lot. Some people can do it, some people can't. So just get out of your own head. Like I said, you are going to feel out of place. But just remember that a lot of people in that room are in the same position as you are, and they feel just as awkward. So by you approaching that other person or another group, it probably makes them feel less awkward. So keep that in mind, and just, you know, go get your drink at the bar, go around the room, you know, and just go up to people, and like you'll feel so much better about it in the end once you just do it.
Yeah. I think that's such a great point, Kara, that like everyone's in the same boat. Like everyone is naked in the room at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
You're not the only person who's like, oh my God, I don't know how to start this conversation.
So I have an awkward question. So
I thought you were going to be like, this
obviously
one time I was naked in a room. I'm like,
no, so obviously, like when you're going to go have that coffee, so after you do like your whole little pitch and you go and have coffee, like you have your own marketing company. So you are like selling like your services to them, right?
Yeah.
So like at the end of mine, I'd be like, hey, and would you like to go have coffee with Jackie sometime? Because she like sells stuff. Like, what do I say? Because I'm just a project manager. Like when it comes to like, you know, the further on question, I pass it off.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think I would say like, you know, would you like to go grab coffee? I'd love to like learn more about like what you do, and, you know, just get to know you more. And then at coffee, I would, you know, start talking about Impulse and, you know, tell them more about the company, and then maybe like sneak in a little, you know, pitch in there. And, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I don't know how that would, in my head, I'm thinking of my own like pitch and stuff. And then I get to that part, I'm like, and then now I feel like I'm selling Jackie, and
like
it's
word
weird.
vomit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Jackie could maybe like attest to this, that I feel like authentic sales is about making true connections.
Yeah.
So like for you to even, Audrey, just go with that person and have a casual coffee and get to know them and talk to them. I feel like Kara said, at the end, just kind of like slide it in. Like you don't have to lead with the sales portion, but be like, talk to.
So she's hair in her hand and she's like flinging it around.
But yeah, like at that point you could kind of like segue into like, you know what? I think that this would be great for you to talk to Jackie, but like the whole conversation is like you guys focus, right?
It would almost be Audrey at the very end, be like, you know what? I really think that you should talk to Jackie. She handles all this at my company. I'm going to send you guys an email and hook you guys up.
Yeah.
Super like laid back, secondhand, like,
Yeah.
because, you know, for you, it wouldn't necessarily be about selling anything. You know, you're wanting to sit down with this person because either they've interested you or they're interested in you, right? Like you have found interest in them, or they found interest with you, whether it's like you love the company they work at and you're interested, or like you just are interested in them and their background. They could be a good resource for you in the future. So I think there's a lot of reasons you necessarily want to meet with someone after an event, not necessarily just because you're selling shit to them or they're selling shit to you, right? Or you're trying to get an interview. Like there's so many reasons to expand your network.
Yeah. And you always like, I always say like, sell yourself first, because people remember you. And then once they remember you, they remember, oh, like Kara has a marketing company. Like, let me go talk to her about her services. You know? So I always say,
or I'm going to send my friend to talk to her about, you know, because that's what this really means, right? Like, it's like that tiered
pyramid.
The pyramid sales scheme, whatever, you know, it's like, and then they have two friends and they have two friends and they have two friends. Like that's ultimately how you want to grow your business in the end. It's not by the person you're meeting, it's by all the people that they know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. And all of my clients have come from word of mouth or just people I've known. And it's the greatest marketing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Great.
And I feel like you can meet like like-minded people too. Like I've met other marketers too. And like, obviously I'm not trying to like sell to them because they have like their own marketing company, but it's nice to like befriend other people, and you don't have to feel like your rivals or whatever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you just befriend them and you have the same
And
struggles.
learn from them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just met another girl who we were like having a no way moment where we're like, oh my God, I also do content. Oh my God, I also do SEO and blah, blah, blah. And it was nice to like, meet
a comrade.
Yeah, comrade. Yeah.
Good word.
How about your role specifically kind of as the director? Are there some like challenges you face there? Or maybe like your favorite part about being on the board?
I would say the biggest challenge, and I'm sure a lot of board members face this challenge, is that we pour our heart and souls into this organization, and that obviously requires time. And all of our roles could be full-time jobs, but we are an all-volunteer organization. So just like kind of balancing that, and because I plan 12 social events and 2 to 3 like big special events a year, and it's a lot of time. And so, but the payoff is kind of just watching our members develop and grow, and just have a smile on their face and enjoy themselves at our events. So that's definitely my favorite thing about it.
Oh, yeah, that's really sweet. So what advice would you give to somebody that is a little nervous about this? I know you said to just kind of dive into it, but is there anything else besides like going in with an open mind that you'd share for them to get started?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just keep saying like, get out of your own head. You're going to walk into the room and just say like, just tell yourself like, everyone's going to like me. Everyone's going to like me. It's going to be fine. I'm going to make some new friendships, and just like remind yourself that it's going to be a positive experience and that everyone in there is in the same position as you.
Do you have any advice for someone besides like LYP or a networking event for making new connections?
I think I already touched on this. Like once you make the connection, like follow up, schedule out, second meeting or coffee or drinks or dinner or, whatever, bowling, whatever you're into. And just, that's how you're going to develop, and that's how you're going to make this networking thing like worthwhile. So.
Get out and actually do activities, do things.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You meet people that way.
So basically, what is a big no-no when networking? Like, what is the worst thing you've ever seen, and have you had to tell people you can't do that in this meeting?
Don't get too drunk.
That's yeah. I would not want to see that.
Cool.
That is an excellent tip.
Because like something I've seen on, like I've just seen people like, have your drinks to loosen up and have a good time, but then once you get like the topsy turvy and whatever, the weeble wobble, and you're slurring all your words and just kind of, I'm just like, oh, okay.
It could really like undermine the whole point of you being there, and like from your like.
That's not a good look at any event.
Yeah.
So, true.
Yeah.
You don't want to look at me at weddings then.
Yeah.
Look away.
After the ceremony, you're good, girl.
Yeah, I've from experience, I've been to a networking event and I spoke to somebody and they just had this huge stack of business cards, and their goal was just to hand out as many business cards as they could, but they wouldn't actually take the time to talk to anyone.
And you're not going to remember. You're like, what's this business card? Who's this?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the business card that goes through the washing machine.
Yeah.
So.
Times, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, that's definitely a big no-no. Like on your elevator speech, just don't sound like a robot. I'm sure you write it out and practice it a few times, but just make that connection and just be yourself. So
yeah, I feel like it's for me too. I've literally, I know this is probably the dorkiest move, but I've literally came out and told people that I was like awkward and nervous.
that's an
like,
awesome thing.
Yeah, like to be vulnerable. Like I've been at the event and I feel like I'm trying, like you said, to be a little robotic, and then like I just take off the mask and I'm like, you know what?
I'm awkward.
I'm awkward. Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry that I'm sounding like an idiot and I'm rambling right now. Like, I'm really nervous. And that just kind of like, to me, the other person feels like they can open up then too and be awkward. Yeah. And it'd be more casual and they understand and they're empathetic and
no, that's a good point.
They remember that realness.
Yeah.
Well, and also the good thing about the young professionals is almost everybody's feeling that same way. They're not veteran networkers either.
I actually have a question that Rachel totally spun a question to me. What is considered a young professional? Like, is there an age restriction or limit in your group?
No.
Because I was thinking, like, am I aging out of young professional? Like, do I have to go to old people chamber?
So we have the young and obviously the young at heart. I would say our average age is, late 20s, early 30s. But we have older, obviously because we do have drinks at our events, you have to be 21 or older. But yeah, I mean, obviously our older members like kind of serve as mentors to the younger crowd. So that's where that kind of all ties in together. So yeah, young at heart, anybody, come on in.
I love that.
Yeah, I find it more intimidating to do those chamber events because I feel like those older people in their, 40s, 50s, 60s they've been doing this a long time. So I'm like, here you go.
Hope you don't like me.
Guys, I feel like I'm supposed to be at the chamber.
No.
I'm young at heart. That's so funny.
I'm no spring chicken either. It's just
I know. I actually was a member of the Young Professionals Network in Philadelphia a lifetime ago when I was working downtown, and I mean, like, it was almost 15 years ago now. And we did it was so fun. Like you said, I met so many fun friends there, and it was such a great experience. So I highly recommend reaching out to your local young professional network, because I don't think anyone ever takes anything bad away from meeting new people.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also forgot to mention, this isn't a plug or anything. It's just that it's another way to network for people who don't like going to network events. We also have a sports league.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So we've gotten people from that moved here, they're like, oh, sports league, that's awesome.
Right. And I'm into kickball, not into whatever the bar thing is or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and that's what our one sport. We just started it a couple of years ago. So we have one sport right now, kickball, and it's just so cool to see how many people love it so much. It gets intense too.
Yeah.
It gets intense. I've never played kickball out of the gym, and now I play in this league, and I'm like, it's scary.
Yeah.
Courtney's our resident kickballer.
Oh, nice.
I've been playing for a few seasons, and I've seen the intense.
Yeah, I play ice hockey, that's intense, but then kickball is just another level.
Yeah, Brian and I were on a team with all my friends, my husband and I, when we lived in Philly, and it that trophy it's a big deal.
It means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I didn't get it, but now I'm getting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just outfits, t-shirts.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So fun.
Yeah. So we do have different things for different people. So, which is good.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
Beer, wine, or liquor?
Beer.
Briggs Meyer personality type?
Pass. I have no idea.
Hogwarts house?
Hufflepuff, is that even one? Yeah.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
Shot and Bottle. It's a restaurant.
Favorite female celebrity?
Pass. I don't have favorite.
Most recent book you've read?
Oh, Why You Shouldn't Give a or whatever it's called. What's it called?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. The Give a
Sparkling or still water?
What's still.
What year would you time travel to?
The 60s, so I can hang out with my mom when she was my age.
Flats or heels?
Heels.
Biggest pet peeve?
Dirty nails.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Kara, for coming on the
Thank
show. Until next time, stay your course, and remember, this is your voyage. Make it amazing. Sadly, that'll do it for this week's episode of Maiden Voyage. We'd like to thank you, our amazing listeners, because let's face it, lady life is hard. It's incredible how much we accomplish every day, and we all deserve awards just for existing. If you're watching the show, make sure that you subscribe, click on that thing for instant notifications, speak your mind in the comments, and share us with your fellow Voyagers.